evolution and real self-improvement is having the awareness and the empathy to say, yeah, no, I can definitely see why when I was in the best shape of my life and I would be at a party and somebody would spill something and I would take my shirt off to clean it up and I was jacked where you would think I was an arrogant asshole. 100%. 100%. I can see that. I fit all the boxes. Yeah, sure.
The question becomes, everyone out there, where is your self-worth? What do you tie your self-worth to? I know some people, so I tie some self-worth to dressing nice, looking well-kept, having my fingernails done. Kev, you don't tie self-worth to any of that. And that's okay. I'm not making that wrong.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1909, is this a you problem or a them problem? I have to change something really quickly. Okay, so Alan and I were having a conversation before this because, again, when we're deciding what episodes to do, we're talking about what we're going through, we're talking about what we're learning, we're really thinking of what would be a valuable place to go in this episode. And Alan and I were talking about a time where Alan was in the gym and there was somebody that Alan used to be very close with who saw Alan at the gym and literally ran away and ran out of the gym. And we were talking about how that made Alan feel bad initially. It's like, what, did I offend that person? Did that person not like me anymore? What is going on? I don't know what the reasoning behind that, the reasoning under that is. And then we started to have a dialogue about it. And I said, well, now with the understanding that you have, you can imagine that that person felt, maybe it was insecure, maybe it was intimidated, maybe it was shame, maybe it was embarrassment, maybe it was regret. It might have been a lot of things. And you unintentionally made them feel a certain way. And then their response unintentionally made you feel a certain way. And it becomes this weird thing where we think people feel a certain way about us or think a certain way about us, when in reality, it might not have anything to do with you. Or it might not have anything to do with what you've done. It might have more to do with what you represent to that person. If this is always kind of a conversation I have in my head, I often wonder what people think about me from my past who I haven't talked to for a long time, especially people that I was really close with at the beginning of this journey. Are they villainizing me? Do they think I'm arrogant now? I'm thinking about that very often. And the reason I think about that is I don't talk to them anymore. So it's not like they have an accurate understanding of who I am because we don't talk anymore. They see me online, and ultimately it's, what do I represent to them? What is the relationship they have with the person that they see? So I thought it would be a cool episode because I think when you start to understand that the way you react to something is not necessarily the way somebody else is going to react to something, you might be able to see how your reactions in the past have offended people, made people feel insecure, whatever it is. And then maybe you can sift through the stuff that's happened to you and say, oh my goodness, that time blank did this, I felt this way and I internalized it and I personalized it, when in reality they were probably going through their own thing. Last thing before I kick to Alan, we've said this many times, this is from somebody else's social media, I did not come up with this, but it's an explanation, not an excuse. So again, I'm not saying that there's no ownership needed on either end, but I do think it's a cool conversation to have.
So this person and I used to work out together often. And this person had lost, I want to say 125 pounds or something like that. When we first started working out together, they were above 300 and they lost, I think, up to 125 or 150. I don't remember the exact number, but it was over 100. I know that because I remember them surpassing the 100-pound mark. And I continued on this fitness journey and certainly am not maybe in as good a shape as I was during my fitness coaching, fitness competition days, fitness modeling. But I've definitely progressed. And this person, as scared as I am to share this on a public medium, but it's anonymous, has gained a lot of the weight back. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And they definitely don't look as well, in my opinion, as they did when we were lifting together and working out together. And so the point of this is, what if they were running away to not want to see me, not because they don't care about me or anything to do with me, to Kevin's point, but what if they are just protecting their own self-worth? And I was watching a TED Talk this morning. I've been trying to do my learning every single day. First thing in the morning, I'll do my protein and my learning. And the TED Talk, the name of it is Self-Worth Theory, the key to understanding. One sec. Where's the title here? Self-Worth Theory, the key to understanding and overcoming procrastination. And it was done at Princeton University, and it's this professor, and he talked about self-worth theory. And I actually looked it up. Kevin and I both did. Self-worth theory is a psychological theory that explains how a person's self-esteem and sense of self-worth impact their behaviors, emotions, and decisions. And we've talked about self-belief versus self-worth dozens, if not hundreds of times on this podcast. The theory suggests that people are motivated to protect their self-worth by avoiding failure and striving for success. Here are some key aspects of self-worth theory. Self-acceptance. Self-worth theory suggests that people's main priority is to find self-acceptance, which can be achieved through achievement. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is formed through a person's experiences, interactions, and the feedback they receive from others. Perception of the self. Self-worth theory suggests that a person's ability to achieve is directly linked to the way they view themselves. Self-awareness. We talk about that on the show all the time. Do you think you're a winner? Do you think you're a loser? That makes a big difference of whether or not you manifest that. Protecting your self-worth. This is the piece I really want to land. People will often go to great lengths to protect their sense of self-worth, even if it negatively impacts the outcome of their achievement. Boom. I'm going to read that again because that's the practical thing for anyone watching or listening. People will often go to great lengths to protect their sense of self-worth, even if it negatively impacts the outcome of their achievement. So let's say that being around me and working out with me did help this person get in shape. And it definitely did. I have no problem saying that, regardless of whether or not this person would agree. I helped them tremendously in fitness. Him running away from me, I got offended at the time. It hurt me. I felt hurt. I felt saddened. I talked to Emilia about it. I was like, I don't understand. Why? What this person was doing, I think, is they were protecting their self-worth. And Kev's told me this for years. He said when people feel bad about themselves, the last thing they want to do is go feel even worse. They don't want to go into environments where, and again, I do want to share this from two frames. There have been times in my life where I've been very out of shape and very unhappy and very unfulfilled and very, very not fit, very not athletic. And I've been around people that are crushing it. And I've felt worse about me around them. So I've been on that side of the equation before, and it definitely doesn't feel good. However, for me, and this is where I want you to jump in after, for me, that was always very motivating. So my fitness coach that I used to work out with was leagues ahead of me. I mean, it wasn't close. That was very motivating for me. What Kev has tried to help me understand, he said some people, if they don't have self-belief and they don't believe they can change it, it's just a big mirror. It's just pain. And people would rather not go in environments that make them feel worse about themselves. And so for everyone out there watching or listening, ask yourself this simple question of, you have certain paths you have to take in life, certain things you have to do, certain rooms you have to be in to achieve your goals. But if you're spending your life trying to protect your self-worth, you might be avoiding the very people or the very mirrors that you need to actually achieve those goals. And so it's almost like you can choose to protect your self-worth in the moment, or you can choose to actually achieve your goals in the long term. And I think a lot of why we don't achieve our goals is because we're trying to protect our own self-worth. We don't want to put ourselves in environments where we're not the smartest, or we're not in shape, or we're not as capable as other people. I have one client who said, I'm too much for my past friends, and they don't get along with me well anymore, but I'm not enough yet to be friends with people like you yet. And he's a client. We're not friends. I'm his coach. That's called lonely land. You're too much for the people you used to spend time with, who aren't willing to maybe take that next courageous leap of faith, or maybe they don't want to. But you're not enough yet to be hanging out with, I don't know, Tony Robbins or whoever.
I believe that the constructiveness of feedback is directly connected to how capable you feel when it comes to changing the thing that you get feedback on.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you need permission to give feedback. Here's the thing. If you don't know your feedback for someone else, it doesn't matter whether or not you have permission. If you just being a human being makes other people feel some type of way, which it will, sometimes it'll be inspired. Other times it might be jealous, or other times it might be scared or intimidated, whatever it is. It depends. It depends on the person. You can't really control that necessarily. This is what I was thinking. I want you to think of someone who is not currently confident in their body. And if we think of it as kind of a spectrum, okay, version 1 doesn't feel confident in their body, so they don't go to the beach at all. That's version 1. Version 2 goes to the beach, but wears sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and they don't take off any of their street clothes, for lack of better phrasing. Okay, that's version 2. Version 3 is somebody who goes to the beach and wears the most covering swim outfit they can. Again, I don't want to get into like specifics because number one, I don't know, but let's say it's a woman and it's like a very covering one piece with the thought of I want to cover as much of my body as humanly possible. Because I know style and I don't know what's in. And then the next one might be somebody who has more confidence and wears a more revealing swimsuit. And then the last person might be somebody who loves to go to the beach and loves to be in a bathing suit because they feel like they look really good and they get significance from that. But you can see how somebody who is struggling to go to the beach because they're thinking, I'm going to wear my sweatshirt, my sweatpants the whole time. Somebody that walks up who is in really good shape might make them feel a certain way about themselves. Even without trying. It could be the kindest person in the world who just walks by and is having a good time. It might make you feel a certain way about yourself. And that's a very dangerous game because then you might villainize that person and say, oh, that person's probably stuck up or that person's this. And I think the best example of this is money. I was watching, so Taryn got home late last night and she brought me home food. And I ate my dinner and then I went and laid in bed and we snuggled for a little bit and she likes to fall asleep on me. And I was watching this video of this guy. I don't know who he is. I got to do more research. But he has a $30 million car collection. And then he went into his house and walked through his gym and then shot a 3-pointer in his gym. My goodness, you have some money, sir. But, curious Kev, I went to the comments of the YouTube video. I wanted to see what people are saying. And there was not a single person who villainized him. Not one.
Why?
And everybody, because he was a down-to-earth, humble guy who talked about how lucky he was to be where he was. Just seemed like a regular dude. That type of person, I think, is really probably helping a lot of people rebuild their relationship with money without even knowing it. Has no idea. He doesn't even know he's doing it. Where other people who flex on social media and say, if you make, like Grant Cardone said this once. I'm calling him out. If you make less than $400,000 a year or something, you should be embarrassed. It's like Grant, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Whether he knows it or not, I don't know. But there's a lot of people who that's messing their relationship up with money even worse. And now they're going to villainize people who have money because there's this asshole who's saying if you don't make X amount, you're a loser and you're not good for your family. It's like that. So much of this is unconscious. So much of this is running under the scenes and we don't even realize it. And then we start villainizing things, to Alan's point, that would be really beneficial. If there's somebody out there who has a course on how to make more money and they're aligned and they're heart-driven and they're proven and they're real and they're authentic and they're a good human, but you see that and say, that's that's wrong. This person has money. They don't need any more. That could end up hurting you in some way, shape, or form, especially if one of your goals is to be financially free, right? If that's what success means to you in some way.
I want to explain something that I think would help everyone, because when I first figured this out and this really landed for me, it changed my relationship with money forever. And I know that's not the point of this episode, but I was outside the gym yesterday and I saw a bank that was closed down, and there was this forklift machine working on the building. No one was in it last night. It was empty. And I remember thinking to myself, and this is how my brain works, so I just want to share this. So someone bought that forklift machine for, I don't know, probably 50 grand. Okay? They probably borrowed the money from the bank to buy it, and then are paying a monthly payment for that. Probably the monthly payment is about $1,000 a month. So that person needs to make $1,000, more than $1,000 per month on average, in order to make a profit off of that machine. What if there's no demand? What if that person doesn't have demand? What if no one's coming to them? Hey, can you redo my roof? Hey, I don't know what these things do, so I can't talk intelligently about this. But hey, can you come fix my bank building or whatever it is, right? So one of the reasons why I'm saying all this is because when you realize that money is the tool that enables you to live and be productive in the world, you stop villainizing money in a way. So, and then this comes down to back to the original point of the episode, which is what's your relationship with money and what's your relationship with yourself with money? Because to make the point land with the money thing, in the example with that machine, the bank benefits because they get interest from the loan that they gave the person. The person benefits because, let's say they make $1,500 and they pay $1,000, so that's $500 profit, and now they have work. The building that is getting redone by this new forklift is now benefiting. Like, this is how you construct the world. I wonder all the time, like, how do these cities get built?
Yeah. It's wild.
Isn't it wild? It's wild how much human beings have built. It's crazy. Who owns that building? Well, the truth is a bank owns that building. And someone who owns that building, quote unquote, owes the bank $50 million and pays $1 million a month. And then whoever works in that building is leasing and spending, I don't know, 50 G's each in each office. So it's all, once you realize how money works, you won't villainize it anymore. That's point one. Point two is, if you don't believe in your own ability to produce money, you are going to villainize people who have it unconsciously anyway, because it's going to affect your self-worth. NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. I think that self-belief can lead to self-worth if you do it right. The reason why I think I had lower self-worth than what I would have liked to have had is because of relationships with other people, not my relationship with myself. So, for example, if you were to work out with Kevin and I, and you were to have not weight trained almost at all over the last decade, you're going to really have a hard time. We're going to be kind to you, and we're going to help you, and we're going to support you. And there's going to be a part of me that's like, honestly, this is kind of holding me back a bit. I'm here to do it, but I'm not a fitness coach. So I'm going to want to go do my own thing, to be completely honest. However, we're not going to make you feel bad, but you might just feel bad in general. I'll never forget this. I had a executive admin early on. Her name was Amy, and we were working out. It was me, Emilia, Bianca. I don't think you were there. And Bianca, for those of you who don't know, she's Evolve Ventures with Emilia, and she's been working out for a very long time. Powerlifting, bodybuilding, all of it. And Amy and Bianca worked out together. Emilia and I worked out together. Same gym, same time. And I could tell Amy was freaking out Because the truth is Bianca's being held back because Amy's not as competent. And Amy is having a really big mirror because not only are there mirrors all around, but Bianca's in really good shape, and Bianca's also a very, very attractive female.
And strong.
And so,
very
very strong, right? Exactly. And so at the end of the, but there are people that would wipe the walls with Bianca. So there's levels to everything. This is next level you. So in order to get to the next level, you kind of have to, that was beneficial for Amy to be in that room with us. However, if her self-worth took a huge hit and that wasn't actually motivating but yet demoralizing, now I understand why someone might avoid that situation. And if Bianca wants to help Amy in that circumstance, Bianca's going to have to go and support her at her level rather than kind of make the contrast really big and that kind of thing. So the question becomes, everyone out there, where is your self-worth? What do you tie your self-worth to? I know some people, so I tie some self-worth to dressing nice, looking well-kept, having my fingernails done. Kev, you don't tie self-worth to any of that. And that's okay. I'm not making that wrong. That's
very
you show
little.
Up in a hoodie.
Very little. I feel slightly different when I've just gotten my hair done. Slightly. Not, it's measurable, but not drastic, is what I would say.
Right. And what car I drive doesn't affect my self-worth very much. A little. I like the Tesla a lot better. We were in a little Nissan rental down in South Carolina. I was like, this is a step back. Holy crap. But it's not affecting my self-worth that much. Whereas if I were in a hoodie with a hat, that would affect me. It wouldn't feel aligned for me. I'm not making this wrong for you.
No.
The point here, the point here is every one of us ties our self-worth and self-esteem to different things. And one thing that I really want to make land in this episode is people always say, well, don't tie your self-worth to how you look. And then they say, don't tie your self-worth to how much money you make, and don't tie your self-worth to what home you're in, and don't tie your self-worth to your relationship, and don't tie your self-worth to being in shape or not. Listen, I got to be very, very honest with everybody. There's a reason why I'm in better self-care than Kev, because I tie my self-worth to it. There's a reason he'll always have a nicer car than me, because he ties his self-worth to it. Now, that can be toxic if you overdo it.
For sure.
But there is some correlation. When Kevin's making more money, earning more money, he is in a better mood. When you're more jacked, you're always in a better mood. You have so much of your value tied up in these things. And by the way, all human beings do. There are some human beings that literally feel terrible about themselves if they don't make at least $500,000 a year. That is true for some people.
Yeah,
I know some of them. There are also some people who are totally fine being completely out of shape, and it doesn't bother them at all. I have one client, I literally said, does it bother you that you're not in like really, really good shape? He's like, no, not really. I said, well, then don't put level 10 effort in it. Because he's like, well, I want to lose 20 pounds. And it just wasn't happening. I'm like, dude, do you really care? He's like, no, not really. I'm like, well, then why are you trying to set a level 10 goal with level 2 caring?
Yeah.
And so the whole point of this is, what is your self-worth tied to? And what are the persons, places, things, and ideas that you might be avoiding that are actually necessary to achieve a goal that would actually increase your self-worth long term?
One thing I want to add before we get out of here, because I was thinking of this when you were talking. I think empathy is the answer, because there's two ways to look at it. Somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, it's very easy to villainize somebody who does have a lot of money that villainizes somebody who doesn't have a lot of money. And it becomes this freaking cycle of course, if let's say I was somebody who was grinding my face off, going to a job that I hate every day, and I was making $62,000 a year. And then I see that post from Grant Cardone saying, if you make less than $400,000 a year, you are doing your family a disservice and you should be sad for yourself. I'm going to villainize him, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And then when I villainize him, he's going to villainize me and say, yep, you're exactly the type of person who needs to see this post. And it becomes this cycle. When I think evolution and real self-improvement is having the awareness and the empathy to say, yeah, no, I can definitely see why when I was in the best shape of my life and I would be at a party and somebody would spill something and I would take my shirt off to clean it up and I was jacked where you would think I was an arrogant asshole. 100%. 100%. I can see that. I fit all the boxes. Yeah, sure. 100%. Just like I can see somebody who has never been out of shape look at someone who is out of shape and say, well, they're lazy and they don't care and they just don't try and blah, blah, blah. Now,
And
hold on.
Here's the thing.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. It can be true. Some people that take their, we'll use my example, that get drunk at parties and when somebody spills stuff, they take their shirt off immediately so people can see how jacked they are. They probably are arrogant, and sometimes they are arrogant and they're not kind and they're full of themselves and all that stuff. Just like, yes, there are some people who are not in shape because they make excuses and they don't stay disciplined and they don't get any feedback and they don't set goals and they watch Netflix all day. Yes, that's a set of humans on both ends. But I do think empathy is the answer for someone who is trying to lean more into self-improvement, self-awareness. And I can understand why somebody would be offended, intimidated, villainize us or me particularly. And I think that helps me. That helps me understand in a lot of different ways. So that's what I wanted to end with.
Well, the last thing I would share is there's a way to flip this script to make it constructive for you. If you see Kev rip his shirt off to clean something up and he's jacked, I remember playing bags with you way back and you basically weren't breathing because your abs were popping.
I got really good at breathing with my abs flexed. That was like a skill.
Yes,
sure.
You did. And I remember thinking like, damn. And that was inspiring for me. Should Kevin be less to make me feel better? No. Does Kevin have to go out of his way to try to feel superior to me? No. And should I villainize Kevin for being in shape? No. Because if I do, I'm less likely to be in shape. This is one of the things that I really, really, really struggle to articulate. You're never going to work hard to become something you villainize. So you have to be very careful with what you villainize. In other words, if you are villainizing money as the problem, you're not going to pursue and work hard to earn money. So instead of villainizing money, you need to try to villainize someone who puts people down. Or for me, I villainize bullies. That's the only villain that I think is a villain, is anyone who is trying to make someone else feel less than so that they can feel more than. I cannot stand bullies. And other than that, these other things like being in shape or earning a lot of money or having a large team or being attractive or taking good care of yourself or wearing nice clothes, a lot of that stuff is actually very positive. And when I realized and learned that you cannot inspire someone without ever triggering any envy, that's when I really started to lean into who I really am, because I do have a very enviable lifestyle. I work from home. I have the most beautiful girlfriend in the entire world. I have a magnificent relationship. I have my own business. We make lots of money. We have an amazing team. We have lots of status and credibility, and I have tons of clients, and we have this wonderful life, this dream life, and we earn it every single day. But it's impossible for me to inspire someone without also having and leading by example the things that might be actually quite a mirror. And the very last piece of this is anytime you're villainizing someone else or something else, try really hard to ask yourself, am I just trying to protect my self-worth from the truth? Because if I am, I might not actually face the fact that, you know what, maybe I'm not that good at earning money. And maybe I need to get better at that. Or maybe I'm not that in shape. And maybe I really do want to be in better shape. Maybe I could get a personal trainer. Because every time you protect your self-worth, you're also potentially protecting yourself from the growth that could really improve that. Because if you can't change it, you have to learn how to love it and accept it. I understand that. But if you can change it, if you can improve it, and you constantly are just avoiding mirrors, protecting, running out of the gym, who knows, that person who ran out of the gym going to the beginning of this episode, I probably would have benefited them by the conversation we would have had. I think that conversation would have been inspiring. I think I would have uplifted that person. I think that they could have learned something from me, and I do think that they would have been more motivated the next day, but they would have had to take the pain in the moment. And ultimately, maybe that's not true. Maybe it would have been totally detrimental. Maybe that's me with high self-belief not knowing. But what I do know is that you can't spend your whole life trying to just protect your current self-image and your current self-worth, because if you do that, you're basically shutting yourself off from being in rooms with people that can really help lift you up and teach you and guide you. And we all need mentors and coaches, and you're never going to grow if you're not around people that are incredible. That's the number one thing. 95% of your success or failure, based on a Harvard research study, is your reference group. And if your reference group makes you feel less than, that sucks, but it also is super important. My client Bianca says, when I'm around you and Emilia, it's very hard for me sometimes to feel good about myself, but it also motivates the hell out of me. And so you got to figure out who and what all of this means for you, and then try to turn the tide in a direction that's actually going to help you achieve your dreams. Because ultimately, you don't want to get to the end of your life and realize, you know what, I avoided all feedback and I never achieved anything great because I was a big fish in a small pond who just kept running away all the time.
Well, you just got to you have to find the productive amount, right? If you give a plant not enough water, it dies. And if you give a plant too much water, it drowns. You need to find the right amount. And then again, I don't know anything about plants, so this is a total assumption, but I'm guessing that as a plant grows, it can absorb more water. So maybe the amount of water that you give it today would have killed it if you gave it to it when it was just a little seedling. And that's the ultimate goal, right? That's the ultimate goal.
And then different types of plants need different amounts of water.
Yeah.
So different types of humans.
The plant cast. Next level plant cast. That's the next one. Today we have a ficus. This ficus is the leafy variety. We have a fake ficus tree, and somebody, I did a post and you could see it, and they reached out and they said, that is a beautiful ficus. And I said, number 1, thank you. Number 2, his name is Frank. And number 3, Frank is fake. So that's why he looks so good. He's fake AF. All right. Next Level Nation. If you never want to miss an opportunity to get to the next level, if you are somebody who loves self-improvement, although at times it is hard, although at times the mirrors are challenging, make sure you are subscribed so you never miss an opportunity to get to the next level. Can I promise some of the things that we say won't trigger you? No, I cannot. But what I can promise is everything we talk about all the time is always from a place of the heart. That's why we say we're heart-driven but no BS. Heart-driven but no BS means we want to tell you the truth based on what we think the truth is, based on what has worked for us, based on what we've studied, but we want to do it from the heart, and that's because we care. So if you're into that, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an opportunity to level up.
I have so many clients who have said that I'll do more for others than I will for myself. If you feel like that is you, we let ourselves down all the time. If you had someone waiting in the gym tomorrow, sitting there waiting for you, and it was someone you cared about, who you didn't want to let down, you'd show up. And that workout would help you. That's what coaching is. I have one client who has done, she just got to 70 YouTube videos. I think she's done 40 since we were coaching together. And not one of them she would have done for herself. She's doing it to win at coaching, she says. The point that I'm making is that accountability is powerful. And without it, we will consistently let ourselves down and break the promises to ourselves. I will hold you accountable. And that's the power of coaching. When you have skin in the game and you pay to play, and it's pay as you go, cancel anytime, no long-term commitment, reach out. I'd love to help.
As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Talk to you soon.